Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Days and welcome to this video entitled Everything You Need to Know About Ronda Rousey. The reason that I'm doing this video is because obviously Ronda's just made a massive appearance at the Royal Rumble. She came out after that first historic Women's Royal Rumble and went to shake the hand of the winner, Asuka slapping her hand away. But Ronda still made her intentions known, pointing up at the Wrestlemania sign. Ronda Rousey has signed a full-time contract with WWE. She will be at Wrestlemania, and the future looks very, very exciting. But it's worth taking a second to look at where she's actually been and kind of bring you guys up to speed with who is Ronda Rousey. There's a lot of you out there that might have heard the name but don't know too much about her. And she's got a very interesting past, a very interesting career path that she's been on. I can tell you she's a lifelong WWE fan, and when she started competing, a lot of her friends gave her the name of Rowdy Ronda Rousey. She felt that a little bit disrespectful towards Rowdy Roddy Piper, who she was a fan of, but she actually got his blessing 2012, 2013, because he was a big fan of her and what she was doing in the MMA world. So she got the blessing, and so she's embraced the name, which is why when she came out at the Royal Rumble, it said, you know, Rowdy across her shirt. It's why the text font was the same as Rowdy Roddy Piper's. She was actually wearing a leather jacket that had been given to her by Rowdy Roddy Piper's son, and that was Rowdy Roddy Piper's leather jacket. So she really has been in the wrestling community or the wrestling universe her whole life. She's always been a fan. She's obviously got the blessing of Rowdy Roddy Piper, and it's just a magical moment. It's just such a great moment when she came out. There was a lot of stuff that was just subtle, that was just done really, really well. She started out, born 1987 in California. She started out going into Judo. The reason she did that was because her mom was, I believe, the first American to win the World Championship in Judo. That occurred in 1984, and so from the earliest age, Ronda was being brought up in this judo environment. She would train with her mom. In fact, I read that she actually broke her mom's wrist at an early age as well, and so she had to go off to like a proper training school. But yeah, she was competing in judo, and she actually went on to become the first American to win an Olympic medal in judo. She won the bronze medal at the Beijing Olympics in 2008, and that was for the 70 kg women's category. She'd won other medals as well. I think she'd picked up silver at the World Championships, but she'd won golds at like the Pan American Games, the Pan American Championships, some other silvers, bronzes. She was very highly decorated in the judo world. But she wasn't really making a great deal of money. She was actually having to have some other jobs at the same time. So she was like a cocktail waitress and a bartender. And so she decided to move over into the mixed martial arts world at the age of 21, 22. She'd been around that world as well because of her judo training. And so she decided to kind of up her jiu-jitsu training. And her amateur record, which is around 2011, her amateur record is 3 wins, no losses, all 3 wins coming by submission. And I can tell you that the total time of those 3 wins is less than 2 minutes. She was, from the very beginning, an absolute dominant force. She entered Strikeforce in 2011, and by early 2012 she was competing against Miesha Tate for that Strikeforce Bantamweight Women's Championship, which she won that match in quite decisive fashion, picking it up again with a submission, and she would then go on to become the Strikeforce Women's Bantamweight Championship. It's around this time that people really start taking notice of Ronda Rousey, you know, former Olympian, now the Bantamweight Women's Champion. And so UFC decided that they would bring her in. She was the first woman to sign for UFC. She was also the first woman female champion. They gave her the UFC Bantamweight Championship. And obviously around this time, you know, a lot of hype, a lot of press. You know, she was starting to appear on things like Conan. She was getting her own like half-hour special. And really, it was because of all of this hype that UFC showed that interest. Ronda's UFC career was absolute dominance. She would have 6 victories as champion before suffering her first loss. Majority of those coming by armbar submission, which is a move that she's known for. One of those victories came in 14 seconds, which at the time was the fastest win in UFC history. Her victory at UFC 190, which took only 34 seconds, was dedicated to Rowdy Roddy Piper, who had sadly passed away the night before. Her run at the top came to an end at UFC 193 when Holly Holm, in the second round, delivered a vicious kick to Ronda's neck, and Ronda went down, ending her 3-year reign as UFC Women's Bantamweight Champion. Ronda, though, had already reached the mountaintop. She had appeared in films like Fast and Furious 7, Expendables 3, the Entourage movie, and on top of that, she'd been at SummerSlam. She was ringside with the other 4 horsewomen in 2014 when it was Steph, I believe, versus Brie Bella, and they can be seen backstage as well. That 4 horsewomen stable is 4 very dominant UFC female fighters. It includes the likes of Shayna Baszler, who is competing down in NXT at the moment. And yeah, they were seen ringside at SummerSlam, and then in 2015, Ronda was actually ringside at Wrestlemania 31. That moment actually picked up the Slammy Award for 2015 for OMG Moment of the Year, because The Rock jumps out the ring, goes round, brings Ronda into the ring, and then there's that epic stare down between Rock, Ronda, Triple H, and Stephanie McMahon. Obviously, Ronda helps clear house, and it's just a really cool moment, a proper WrestleMania moment. And as I said, that picked up Slammy Award for OMG Moment of the Year in 2015. She was obviously ringside as well for the Mae Young Classic last year because of Shayna Baszler's involvement. And the UFC 4 horsewomen teased a little backstage, behind the scenes run-in with the WWE 4 horsewomen, because obviously you've got Charlotte, Becky Lynch, Bayley, and Sasha Banks, who have dubbed themselves the 4 horsewomen as well. So there's obviously a storyline to be explored there in the future if WWE wanted to go in that direction. Ronda's final UFC match would come at the end of 2016, nearly exactly a year after that defeat to Holly Holm. She would take on Amanda Nunes, and this would be at UFC 207. And I can tell you that she suffered a TKO, a technical knockout, within the first minute of the first round. And I think it became very apparent that Ronda Rousey's MMA career, UFC career, had finished. But the future is fantastically bright. She reached the mountaintop in the world of MMA, and as a result, she is a massive star. She is actually going to be the lead role in the new Roadhouse film that comes out, I believe, some point in 2018. And obviously now she signed that full-time contract with WWE. She's known for her striking, her submissions, her armbar in particular. Very good at sweeps. But yeah, she is going to be a very interesting character in the WWE world, because she is absolutely legit. She is still one of the baddest women on the planet right now. So WWE have just signed themselves a megastar. Awesome, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed this quick look at the history of Rowdy Ronda Rousey. If you did, let me know in the comments below. If you know any other facts, drop them down in the comments as well. If you give the video a like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff, be really appreciated. And hopefully, see you again next time. Bye for now.